Hey, welcome to the shop. Today we're going to be making a salt grinder and a pepper grinder out of a kit I got from Penn State Industries. We're going to be making the salt grinder out of this, which is spalted maple, and we're going to make the pepper grinder out of this, which is rosewood. We're going to go ahead and make these. They're for my wife. She wanted them 2 Christmases ago, so I'm a little late on this project. So let's get started. So I'm chucking up this piece of maple here. I got this maple from my father-in-law's shore house. It was from a tree that was knocked down during Sandy. Did a lot of damage to his house, but it's pretty wood, and I've made some things for him with it. I'm using the Forstner bit here. That's basically how they want you, the directions want you to go ahead and clear this out. I'm not a big fan of Forstner bits on the lathe because I can't get my lathe at a slow enough speed for the Forstner bit, and they tend to burn. So the more and more heat builds up, it's not really that good. I should get a set for just the lathe. So, but I want to go to 1/8 of an inch here. I got a little more to go. I'm following the directions that are said to go to 1/8 of an inch. You can see kind of the burnt wood there. That's why I don't really like using the Forstner bit. It's not good for the hardness of the steel. I'm going to come in here and clean it up a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup with my tool. The Forstner bit left a rough edge, and I don't think I'm very true here on the very end of my thing. So I have a little bit to play with here. I went a little deeper with the Forstner bit so I could come and clean this up. I'm going to switch now. I'm going to put in a smaller Forstner bit. Now this Forstner bit's going to come in and clear a cavity all the way through this piece. And what that cavity is where, in this case, the salt or the pepper would collect. And it's the reservoir that would hold that. So I'm going to go almost all the way through here. The reason I'm not going to go all the way through is I don't want to blow out the other side. So I'm basically going to feed it in. This smaller bit works a little better. The smaller the bit, the less wood it has to remove and the less heat buildup there'll be. So I'm just steadily cranking this through. I'll eventually have to stop and then move my tailstock up to compensate. I only got like 2.5 inches of travel here. You can see here I moved it up. And I'm just going to basically go almost all the way through, but not entirely. But it worked. This bit worked a lot better than the other bits. Also, these bits could use a sharpening. So I'm using a tool to come in here and just clean up. The bit left a little bit rough wood, and I didn't want like this wood fibers and stuff in with the salt. So I just went in and I did a skim cut on the inside and hollowed a little bit to allow for this end piece to go in, as well as a little more room in there for the salt. I had trouble fitting this. I had to go in with my hand tool and fit this a little bit. So I'm going to take it out of the chuck now, and I'm going to spin it around. And the reason I'm going to spin it around is I didn't want to go all the way through, so I'm going to come in with a bit from this end. I'll get a nice crisp shoulder, and I'm going to clear that hole all the way through. There's not a lot of wood for me to go in here, so I'm basically going to go in a little bit, and you'll see it pop through. You'll see it come right through, I think right about there. So we're all the way through. Just kind of clean it up a little. And I'll back it back out. And now we're all the way through our piece. I did the same stuff on the pepper grinder. So here are the general shapes. And I'm just going to take my tool and we're going to shape this. I like the shapes in the catalog, so I kind of mimicked them a little bit. The salt and pepper shaker are different shapes. I did a little different with them, but really they stick out because of the contrasting wood. The maple is the salt shaker, and the walnut is the pepper shaker. So kind of stayed with the color of the wood that matched what was in them. So I'm just coming with a nice shape here. Give it a little bit of decoration. And then I wanted to kind of concave like they had in the pictures here. So I'm going to do the end first, but then I'm going to come in and I'm going to make this nice concave shape along the body. And it really works nice. I've been using them for a little while now, and I really like that shape. Really gives you something nice to grab onto as you're turning the crank. It keeps it from being a little less bulky. It's easy for my wife to hold. It's easy for me to hold, and it's kind of got that good shape just to kind of grab there. So I'm going to do a little sanding and come in and get in between the valleys of these like beads there, and go to a lower grit here, make it look really nice. I'm going to, finish sanding. I think I went all the way up to 600 on this, and I'm going to basically come in and put some of this, it's, crystal, whatever that hut, crystal coat. But I like it. It's once it cures, it's food safe and everything's fine. And I think it gives a nice shine and really makes that spalting pop out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble this. It says to glue the upper cap. I'm going to unstuck this with a high-tech glue cleaner out, paper clip. Okay, has the upper cap here. Go in there, it measures correctly, but it's just too high. So what I'm going to do is pull it apart, and I'll widen that a little on the drill press, but that really needs to be deeper. That's not a very good design. I am right at the depth it says to be. Went ahead and made that deeper. That wound up being almost 2/8. That would be a fourth. A fourth. Just kind of holding that in until that tacks up. Okay, that's in. Now I'm going to put together this assembly, right? This inner piece, and then this, the inner, let's see, okay. The inner piece here, right? The inner piece here, and the ceramic assembly go like this, right? And then this piece okay, so I went ahead and screwed those in, and I forgot to put this part in. Mother. Unscrew them. They have you glue this top part in. It doesn't hold very well. They did put holes for 2 screws, but didn't give you the 2 screws. Wouldn't it just be easier to, I don't know, screw it in? I don't know why they don't give you this screws. Oh, because I think maybe because you have to buy your own glue. It's kind of frustrating. Cap goes on. I'm at 3 inches. This knob is too high. So I gotta find a way to get that smaller. I'm at measurement, 3 inches. It's a little frustrating. Okay, so what I had to do, right, some of my frustrations with this project is this top piece, they don't give you 2 screws to help. You have to super glue it in. Very frustrating. If I had 2 screws, I would have been done. Super glue is a pain in the ass. Plus, I'm putting salt and stuff. I don't want the chemical. I just wish they gave you 2 screws. Okay, another thing that kind of ticks me off is the overall length is supposed to be 3 inches, and I'm actually about a 32nd over. But this piece here, right, the throat was so long that this cap couldn't go on. I actually had to grind it down. It's kind of frustrated when you're following the directions and it doesn't really work. Another thing is they give this dimension up here to be 3/8 of an inch. It's not. It's actually deeper than that. So overall, I'm not very happy with the directions. I do like the way this looks, but I mean the directions are off. So I'm a little frustrated with that. I just wish, give me the 2 screws to put in there, and I'd be done with it. So now, granted, I did grind this down, and it works, and that's I'd rather have a little too much than a little too little. You know what I mean? But there we go. And we adjust the amount of cutting with that. So okay, so there we have it. Take some pictures of them. But 1 salt, 1 pepper. Came out pretty good. Did find the screws. This one had 4 sets of screws. Still had to grind it. Still had to drill more up here, so those numbers are off. But other than that, they came out pretty good. I really like them. I like their small size. I think they're really good. So thanks for coming to my shop. See you next time.